Hello everybody and welcome to Wine Library TV. I'm your host, Gary Vaynerchuk. So, WLTV, let's mix it up. Come on, I don't want to do the same thing over and over. Question of the day, right off the bat. Change it up a little. I'm very curious. You have to answer this. Which wine from this area would you drink first? Would you drink a wine from China or India? If you could only pick two wines and you were in a store and there was only two wines, one from China, one from India, which one would you choose? That's a loaded question because in the 7 years when these are two major wine growing regions, I want to take credit for being the first American person to talk about it. So, let's move on. So. We're going to taste wines. We've got 4 wines. Yesterday we had this whole gimmick. It was so awesome. Eric and I were in the tanks thinking, how can we make Wine Library cool? We're going to tell viewers that we've pre-picked the numbers and the wines that are going to fall in that number are going to be the wines that we show. Eric and I picked 4 numbers, and guess what? In those numbers, there was not one wine recommended for the show. So, instead there was babble and other chatter. So, basically we had to pick 4 wines that were close to the numbers, and that's how we have these 4 wines today. I'm going to taste the wines with a wine glass, and I'm going to also talk about Gravitars real quick. You're noticing they're not on the site. We're having some technical difficulties. John Kay, Eric, Chris Mott, the whole team, they don't really know what they're doing, and so it's not working, and so we'll figure it out. Obviously, something's going on with Gravitar.com, and they will be back hopefully one day in time. First wine is the Rosenblum Vintner's Cuvée Zinfandel with a bunch of Roman numerals on it. $8.67, 86 points, Wine Spectator, and somebody requested it, and we're gonna taste it. I've always been a fan of Rosenblum as a winery. I think they make great wines, and this is their entry level. I want to thank everybody who's at the super tasting. Big shout out to Italian Stallion, Denise, Julius. It was really fun to meet all you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and tomorrow I'm coming with the thunder. Clips from the super tasting, the wines that have been ordered the most from the super tasting between yesterday and tomorrow's taping of the show. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So looking forward to that. Color, it's got some. Reddish purple. Phone's ringing. Was hoping for that. Getting really kind of like a chocolate, coffee kind of mocha nose, which is interesting. Classic like Zinfandel nose from the spice, you're getting a little spice, a little plum, aspects to it. Opening up quite nicely. All the wines here have been open for about 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. Wow. This is not good to me. It tastes really like sugar water with some alcohol in it. I mean, we can all make this wine if you'd like tonight. Go home, grab some grape juice, throw it in a bucket, grab a nice bottle of vodka, throw it in there, 2 cups of sugar, and you've got the Rosenblum Zinfandel. That's brutal. 77 points. A complete pass, put 7 Z's on this. This is exactly what I don't like about low-end Zinfandel. Classic, just plum juice with high alcohol. I am not a fan of this wine, and that's how I feel about that. So, let's move on. Chateau Loudenne 2001 Pont Medoc. And this is a very interesting wine, mainly Cabernet. It's got a little Cab Franc, a little Merlot as well. This is an entry-level, Bordeaux, $16 or so, very accessible, meaning you can find this in almost all the shops. It was a very, very prominent Bordeaux for people in the early to mid-'80s getting on the Bordeaux bandwagon. It used to sell for $8, $9 back then, and it's really an entry-level Bordeaux. It was a step up from the Mouton Cadet in those days, so it had a big name. It's tailored off a little bit as the education and knowledge in the wine industry and of Bordeaux in America has grown, but this is a standard. And so let's see what this guy's got. Classic black, purple colors, nothing too out of the ordinary. Really, really unattractive nose, just coming off dirty to me, sandy, almost like a solid mix of, this is kind of interesting. Take dirt, that light brown dirt, and mix it with cinnamon, so it's like it all looks the same. You're not sure what's the cinnamon and what's the dirt. It's confusing you. And that's kind of what I'm getting here, a little bit dirty, but with little hints of cinnamon on the nose. Oof. You know, I like being a crusader sometimes, and whoever requested for me to taste this wine, great news. I just saved you a lot of money on your wine. I mean, this is definitely a pass as well. We're going to go 83 points on this. Tastes like dirty paper. I'm really not happy with this. I'd call this more or less, garbage-oriented wine. I'm not a fan of this in any shape or form. It's got really no attractive aspects to it ever at all. I find no noble characteristics in this wine at all. Get it off my table. And you know what, Rosenblum? You're coming off too. All right. So far, this is not going so well, but, San Rustico Amarone 2000 is going to change the game, aren't you, San Rustico? It's a $21 Amarone, by far our number one selling Amarone, mainly probably because of the price. No score that I know of. And I'm a sucker for Amarones. I mean, this is, it's like French fries. They're all kind of good. So let's see what's going on here. Okay, this doesn't have as much explosiveness as most Amarones have, of that really ripe, sugared cherry kind of aspect. Obviously, the ripeness of Amarone is something that I always enjoy. Solid color, but also a little hint of earthiness as well in this wine. Also like a high hint of Kirsch alcohol. Almost smells like a schnapps. That's a classic 80s term, schnapps. People used to drink schnapps. It smells like schnapps. Textbook Amarone from the standpoint of you get a real chocolate aspect. I mean, it's like the real obvious chocolate wine. I am getting a hint of fine Cuban cigar on the finish, which is nice. It's a little mid-bodied, a little bit lighter than I like my Amarones. It also finishes very poorly, kind of disappears, already gone off my palate. Standard wine. I'm going to go 87 points on this. I don't love it. I don't hate it. $21. It's overpriced. And to my top-selling Amarone, pass. Dear Wine Library TV viewers, this may be your last episode. All right, Remy, 2003, Diamond Mountain, Napa Valley, and Mr. Remy, David Remy, is one of my favorite all-time winemakers. He is an unbelievable pioneer in California. Baby. This is the Red Mountain blend. I don't know the exact blend of this wine. Hopefully, we'll look it up after the show and put it in the episode. But I'm sure it's Cabernet based. It's always been extremely dark. I mean, big black, big wine. $60 US, 91 to 94 points. Steven Tanzer, toughest critic in the books. So let's see how this stacks up. Thank you, whoever recommended this. Silky smooth, tons and tons of flavor, jam. Really obvious flavors of black currant, black cherry, blueberry, dark flavors, those real blackberries. I'm really getting a lot of flavor on the palate. Really rich, very smooth. I like the complexity. The silkiness is obnoxious. I mean, obnoxious silkiness. How can you pass on that? $60, worth it if this is your style of wine. I'm going to score this wine 93 points. I'm very high on this wine. This is definitely a wine I'm going to put in my cellar. No doubt about it. I'm a big fan of this. This is New World at its finest, with structure, with backbone, but just jams. I mean, a waterfall of flavor. I mean, awesome. Big fan. Good job, David, again. Great wine. Very silky. Yummy. I'm going to drink a little more. I'm in a mood. This is good. finally, I am going to end with a surprise tasting. This is the Charles Shaw, famous Trader Joe's, one of the great marketing moves in the history of our business. This is the 2004 Merlot. But, you know, Trader Joe's is amazing for pulling this off. What an accomplishment. They sold 1.7 billion zillion bottles, and it's really an accomplishment. And for 49 cents or 63 cents, we know West Coast $1.99, East Coast $2.99. Real accomplishment. I'm really proud of them. And more importantly, you know, I'm really excited to taste it. So, you know what? I think I know somebody who can taste this wine even better than I can. And here's the videotape.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk. First thing today, I want to talk about the Jets. I love the Jets. Even though they haven't won a Super Bowl since the Johnson administration, I still love them. Even though they got shut out this weekend, got beat really, really badly, I still love them. Even though they haven't won a championship within my lifetime, I still love them. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about some wine. Today, I'm really excited. I got a great wine for us today. It's the 2003 Charles Shaw Cabernet Sauvignon. I'm really excited about drinking this today. It got a great review from Consumer Reports recently, so I'm really excited about drinking this. I've had this decanting for about 3 hours now, so it really should be opened up. Nice color, nice color. Let's give this a taste. Smell. Nice nose. I'm getting chicken and maybe some cherries and cedar. I know. Take a Cornish game hen, stuff it with cigarette butts and cherries, roll it in horse manure, put it on a cedar plank, and put it in the oven for an hour. When it's done, take the chicken and throw it away and eat the cedar plank. That's what this tastes like. I guarantee. Go out right now and do it. That's what this smells like. Wow, I'm really surprised by this wine. You know, this is a great bargain, $2.99. I'm going to give this, I don't know, this isn't too bad. I'm going to give this 89 points. Maybe 89 points. Okay, let's move on. Questions. Tony says, Gary, how's the Heat episode coming? Question mark. Tony, if you don't shut up about the damn Heat episode, I'm going to cut your nose off. I'm going to come to your house and cut your nose off. Tim F says, Gary, how about you stop talking about the stupid Jets? Tim F, no. Question of the day. Who is your favorite 20th century physicist? That's all I got for today. This is your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, saying, I know a lot more about wine than you do.